continuation of my report, curriculum practices. So we have four practices in curriculum. First is the curriculum as a body of knowledge to be transmitted. Secondly, curriculum as attempt to achieve a certain ends in students' product. Third, curriculum as a process. And fourth, curriculum as a praxis. So, curriculum as a syllabus to be transmitted. So, many people still equate curriculum with the syllabus. Basically, it means a concise statement or a table of the heads of a discourse. So, the content of a treatise, the subject of or a series of lectures. What we can see in such documents is a series of headings which, with some additional notes, which set out the areas that may be examined. A syllabus will not generally indicate the relative importance of its topic or order in which they are to be studied. So in some cases, as Corazon points out, those who compile a syllabus tend to follow the traditional textbook approach, or an order of content, or a pattern prescribed by a logical approach to a subject, or consciously or unconsciously. So a shape of university course is which they may have anticipated. Thus, an approach to curriculum theory and practice which focuses on syllabus is only really concerned with the content. So curriculum is a body of knowledge, content, or subject. So education in this sense is a process by which these are transmitted to delivered to students by the most effective methods that can be devised, according to Blinken. Okay, curriculum as a product. So education is most often seen as a technical exercise. So objectives are set, a plan drawn up, then applied, and the outcomes. So we have product measured. So in this way, thinking about the education that has grown in influence by the United Kingdom since the late 1970s with the rise of a vocationalism and the concern with competencies. So thus, in the late 1980s and 90s, many of the debates about a national curriculum for schools did not much concern on how curriculum was thought about as what its objectives and content might be. So the central theory of curriculum is simple. Human life, however varied, consists in the performance of specific activities. Education that prepares for life is one that prepares definitely and adequately for the specific activities. So however numerous and diverse they may be for any social class can be discovered. So this requires only that one go out into the world of affairs and discover the particulars of which the affairs consist. So this will show that the abilities, the attitudes, habits, appreciations, and forms of knowledge that men need. So this will be the objectives of curriculum. So they will be numerous, definite, and particularized. So the curriculum will then be the series of experiences which children and youth must have by the way of obtaining those objectives. So curriculum as a process. So we have seen that curriculum as a product model is heavily dependent on the setting of behavioral objectives. So the curriculum essentially is set of documents for implementation, and so another way of looking at the curriculum theory and the practice is by a process. So in this sense, curriculum is not only physical thing, but rather the interaction of teachers, students, and knowledge. So in other words, curriculum is what actually happens in the classroom and what people to do prepare and evaluate. So we have in this model is a number of elements, constant interaction. So it is an active process and the links with the practical forms of reasoning set out by Aristotle. So curriculum as a praxis. So curriculum is a praxis in many aspects, a development of a process model. While the process model is driven by general principles and places an emphasis on judgment and meaning making, it does not make explicit statements about the interest it serves. So it may, for example, be used such a way that does not make continual reference to collective human well-being and to emancipation of the human spirit. So the practice model of curriculum theory and the practice brings this to center of the process and makes an explicit commitment to emancipation. Thus, action is not simply informed, it is also committed. It is practice or practice. So let's go with the curriculum design alternatives for the future. So a curriculum design is termed to describe the purposeful, deliberate, and systematic organization of curriculum instructional blocks within a class or a course. So in other words, it is a way for teachers' plans instruction. So when teachers design curriculum, they identify what will be done, who will do it, and what schedule to follow. So there are three basic types of curriculum design. So first is subject-centered design, second is learner-centered design, and third is a problem-centered design. Let's first tackle the subject-centered curriculum. So subject-centered curriculum design revolves around a particular subject matter or discipline. For example, a subject-centered curriculum may focus on both math or biology. So this type of curriculum design tends to focus on the subject rather than the individual. So subject-centered curriculum design describes what needs to be studied and how it should be studied. Core curriculum is an example of a subject-centered design that can be standardized across the schools, states, and country as a whole. So in standardized course curricula, teachers are provided a predetermined list of things that they need to teach to their students, along with the specific examples on how these things should be taught. It can also find subject-centered. So let's go with this learner-centered design. So a learner-centered curriculum design takes each individual's needs, interests, and goals into consideration. In other words, it acknowledges the students are not uniform, and adjusts to those student need. So learner-centered curriculum design is meant to empower learners and to allow them to shape their education through their choices. And the third one is a problem-centered curriculum design. So like learner-centered curriculum design, problem-centered curriculum design is also a form of student-centered design. Problem-centered curricula focus on the teaching students on how to look at a problem and come up with a solution to the problem. Students are thus exposed to real-life issues, which helps them to develop their skills that are transferable to real world. So problem-centered curriculum design increase the relevance of the curriculum and allows students to be creative and innovative as they are learning. So the drawback to this form of curriculum design is that it does not always take learning styles into consideration. Okay, thank you.